time to delve into darkness, turn on those street lights, because we're at the back half of the NA East semifinals at DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite. Right now, it's a race to the top amongst multiple players, and they're all shoulder to shoulder, neck and neck. No one wants to give even a sliver of room for someone else to triumph.
There's so many people who are now possibly invading on the NA East region. Vevi being one of them, the Irishman who seems to be unstoppable right now, having one of those runs through what it feels like he was doing right now is through Cash Cup essentially, but a lot of people are at risk. Booga right now is in 98th place. There's a lot of people right now that we're looking for at the top. Mongol, Benji, they're in qualification range for their second grand finals of DreamHack Open this July.
And this might be the last 2 or 3 games we're seeing over here from multiple different regions, of course, though, played on the NA East servers. And right now, these games, as fun as they are actually just unusual in the way we're seeing these players get these elims, these top-down end games. The only way I can explain it is like it's a clock with many different sized gears, and time is passing by, not at the right pace, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, depending on where the zone is. But the one place, the face that we see time and time again every game is Caddy Corner. Look at the arrows there on the minimap. And then Vevi, Mongrel, Animal, Epic Whale at the Authority. Depending on what game we're in, it might be a different player. But either way, it's fun all around, and it's high-speed action that you do not want to miss.
And to see Vevi here means that potentially we might see even Mongrel in this one too. He will be fighting against Rogue Shark with a compact SMG, and you can't escape Rogue Shark in those close quarters. One of the best aimers in North America East. So Vevi will be quickly on to the next game. Now, I'm not sure if Mongrel is in this one. I saw a lot of nameless players up at the top of the Authority, but there were a lot more than you might expect. So I think people might be switching it up, trying the desperation to catch up in these last couple of games, because again, we are in the last 40 minutes of queues as of right now.
And this is where games start to get tighter. Usually we'll see a lot of people dropping down. Now just 88 players up to live. And at this 125 plus point range, Tayson is still here. Just got eliminated, so he'll be in his next game and a few less for him to play. Still, things are getting desperate for a lot of players. It's a 3-way fight. Platinum Rates finally hitting a shot back. Vetify, these guys are all fighting over a llama. I don't think Vetify even has a weapon to start things off, but now he has about, I would say, 1,200 mats to play with. Platinum has none.
No, we'll pick up at least a siphon materials off of the Elim right there, but he will outlast both on HP and materials. So with the one weapon I think that Vetify has off of basically a shack or maybe that bridge, potentially a slurp truck in the near area as well. Hiding behind that llama to get that first one was very interesting. And he will start to go out and start to wind down the materials of Platinum. Oh, I like the aggressive Crash Pad's actually throwing it on top of Platinum instead of using it himself to drive into his box. That will waste the materials, and Platinum will leave his back open in this case.
Yeah, much needed materials. I don't think Vetify knows exactly how much damage he did. It was a lot, but damage or not the builds, it's the player HP pool you have to be hitting at the end of the day. Platinum has the advantage for this one so far. It's up against a charged shotgun though. A quick drop down, but Vetify tracks him perfectly. The patience was there, the shot lands, and now he has a little bit more of an opportunity to play out this game comfortably.
Also a sigh of relief is with 151 points, just barely in the running for qualification for grand finals. Somebody who has done it before, but not in the most flying of colors. We've seen the name in NA East. Other names that we see in the feed, obviously we saw Rogue Shark in the Authority at first, but I saw Unknown. And that's Caddy Corner's another fight as well that obviously will be impactful. Unknown with 2 eliminations so far in this game. This could be a big one for him to really regain composure and regain space.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm seeing completely new players at Caddy Corner again. So every fight will be that much more different for these people who are landing here over and over. Saw Thrice actually get that Caddy launcher multiple times. He could be that mysterious player we don't have the actual nameplate for. but it'll be a new challenge every single time. Just imagine a puzzle that's ever changing as you're building it. That's what the player who wins this BOI has to complete every single time.
It's almost like if you are a caddy player in these semifinals and you're not qualified yet, but you are like on pace to qualify, you kind of want to move away from caddy and maybe come back in the grand finals because of how many people right now that are landing here in desperation. Because yes, we saw Pokes here yesterday. Yes, we saw probably everybody here at some point. But 88 points right now for Pokes. He has a lot of work cut out to do, and he's already lost the Shockwave launcher. That's one of the big things about these mobility items at the Mythic POI is it's so easy for them to just dive away. And Pokes is now by himself. An update there in the bottom left as DreamHack continues to try to get the updates. It's Mr. Savage in 100th place. So we might see a full-on 3 youngsters from EU all qualify. Benji, Mongrel, and Mr. Savage. Another fight for Bizzle early game. We saw him in the very first game. He's at 161 points, but he's at risk.
Yeah, you see how much even one game earlier on could matter. He got taken out off spawn, I think at least 2 times here. Might be a third. I never really see him super contested or even just changing his drop.
Oh, no.
I don't think this is the house he usually lands at, so already I'm sensing a little bit of unconfidence. On the back end, he has that 1x2, very good to box fight with from a defensive position. The crack is not stopping.
Wall after wall, Bizzle continuing to try to use the crash pads backwards so he can shoot it at the same time, and now he gets stuck on a tree, but he's gotten the distance and the other player backs off as well. Bizzle obviously has a lot to his name right now. A sniper, a charge shotgun, AR, a launch pad, and those are pretty much everything you could ask for, and you can hopefully find some extra stuff, but this is really good. Bizzle notoriously does have trouble qualifying for any online qualifiers, grand finals wise. But still, I say that, and he's one of the most consistent players in the world. I know it sounds like a dichotomy, but it's not. Unknown comes into the same mix of Bizzle's fights, and he's chasing down Cracked. I think he'll be able to make quick work of him, as Unknown has already gotten 3 phases in the box. Yes, he's in there. A 50-50, but oh no, all of a sudden the things switch. And it was Unknown who, for some reason, I think he was at the Authority, had the glider gun, and boom. A 22-point player takes out one of the best W keys in NA, and that is a, I guess, perfect example of why fighting so much is so risky, because anybody, no matter where they are in the standings on the day of, can take anybody else out.
It's just like, it's shock for me. It's shock that this is even a possibility. Like, that's while this player had not only influenced Unknown, but just got Bizzle off of his landing spot too. All these players might not be in contention for being near their top and affecting the top 100 with their points. Their gameplay too matters a lot. The decisions they make every second, at least in the early game, can just be compounded so massively.
I'm just trying to verify whether that player was actually on iPad, and I do see somebody named Cracked on iPad with some PR on Fortnite Gamepedia, which to me indicates that that's him. I didn't realize there was a second mobile player who qualified. But he just took out Unknown, and you could tell he was clipping it. The slowest clip of all time.
Oh. On to Mongrel now. The one thing that Bizzle left behind was his original drop spot. I believe that henchman base is usually where he operates from or in and around it when his presence is not known either at the top of that mountain or beside the gorge. Big buildings are just left open for free grabs for top players. With 6 nades, I believe Mongrel's going to be having a completely different approach to fights compared to what we've seen before. In this semifinal, he's going to be keeping his distance, looking for beams and combinations more so than box dives. Illist is doing another thing we haven't seen too much of, the complete trap, the bait.
It's risky these days, man. You never know who's going to be able to beam you from 200 to 0. It's a god chest with a bunch of loot, and Slimy's walking right into a trap. I don't think he's going to go up here, though, and For whatever reason, Illis is giving up on the trap. Maybe he's lost his nerve. Every time I've seen somebody do this, it's gone poorly. I saw Benji try to do this when he was trying to qualify for Grand Finals in the FSCS Invitational. Did not work out. Had one of the worst days I think we've seen. Now Ellis will follow up, crouching all the way so that the noise is not made. And here comes the beam, hunting rifle. Potential, no, it misses, and the opportunity now gone.
Slimy's probably just saying, I knew it. I knew there was something wrong. Thank God I did not go to that second floor. I don't think Ellis is going to be that sad either moving forward. They're watching Moo over here with a big one-pump shot. I'm curious to see exactly who is getting eliminated more so than who is getting the eliminations on all these highlighted replays.
Especially when the player in the replay has lower points.
Yeah.
All right, because as we saw, somebody with 22 can take out unknown. So I'm always looking for those updates on any relevant player going forward. Illist is relevant, 214 points. Well on his way of qualifying, and somebody who we have been keeping track of over time. Started really doing well around the squads era, but also participated all the way back in World Cup qualifiers.
How did Pokes get all the way here from caddy corner? I swear he was on the back end. Already? That fight ended pretty fast. He doesn't have any of the items from that POI. Complete disengage, not chased down by any of the caddy shotguns or shockwave launchers. It's a box fight, and I guess that's the last step he'll take in this game.
I don't even know if I categorize that as a box fight. That's a box dive. Let's dance on him. Pokes. Again, we recall how many points Pokes had. He had to take a fight of some sort. He had to get a game going that would matter significantly. But with the skill of these lobbies right now, the fact that we're down to top 500 only makes it so difficult to take any fight at all. And Illis is one of the better players in the world. I do want to point out before I let you go, Shia, the Gabe we saw in the last game, he was in that top 5 situation. He was at 240 or something, and he was former duos with Pokes, if I remember correctly. So that is a big shift in those two, and I think they have obviously departed as teammates since the days of World Cup, but an interesting factoid.
I mean, we've been seeing it with Booga and Stretch all along. We've been seeing it with Benji and Savage, even all the way at Anaheim, these duos, trios who might not even just be partners yet, in the past have clashed and affected each other's games right there side by side. What I was going to mention, you said top 500 players up until this point. For me, mentally, I think for just the competition at this backstage at the last 30 minutes, I would categorize this more as the top 400 playing now. I feel like a lot of the people near the bottom end have been defeated. Maybe there's 1 or 2 people who are cracked on their iPads who are still affecting games. But so far, you can just see it in these box dives. No one's waiting, playing these fights out. Nosh is just cutting through people like a hot knife through butter.
.181 points. Nosh is at risk. An update on the threshold right now as we get closer. I'm going to continue to reference. Again, in EU, it was 244. That gives you an idea of where it might end. On NA East right now, it's 174, and we've got a half hour left for queues, which means 1 wave of games. And then after that, we have about 20 minutes for those final games to unfold. Nosh gonna get beamed, and that's unfortunate because he only has minis and 2 chug splashes.
Your words echoed right past every single tracker or leaderboard. The threshold now is 181. It's exactly where Nosh is. Luckily, Rogue Shark leaves him to be able to heal up and stay in this game, but he is literally on the cusp of top 100. Sourcry is the individual who's there, 0 wins, 6 games played, 181 points.
Thought Margle in the game, by the way, so potential for him to continue to rise up, and potential for us to see that rise, which we don't quite often see Margle in the actual tournaments. A rare look into that, at least on a broadcast level. Playing inside the box, inside the bush. Hopefully gonna be able to sneak up on Charlie. That would be really nice for him. Doesn't want to waste any more heals. So hoping that distance is also made between all these different players. Look at the points. Every single player we're tuning in. I know we don't know who this is in the bottom side, but 174, just slightly behind Nosh, and also just slightly behind that threshold.
There's some echoes of the past in this game as well. We saw all the way at the beginning, Bizzle pushed way past this point, or this section of the map, this little henchman base, the Gorge. Because of that pushback, he didn't have control of near Weeping or the base. We saw multiple people fly by. Mongrel gets to leave Authority for free. Nosh gets to survive past Straw Hat Charlie, past Rogue Shark. These small decisions that even these 23-point players are making on the controllers of these POIs are just rippling, and Nosh gets taken out at 182 points.
Oh no. Thankfully, there's still time, but he just wasted 3 zones worth. That's how I'm gonna go with time from now on.
Okay.
3 zones worth of time gone for Nosh. He has to make that up and more in the next game, because this was the time he needed to start to get ahead of the waves that are gonna crash further down. See that correctly? That's Seabass in the bottom left with 115, and Gabe also in a game with 221 points. So that's after what we saw potentially in this one. There's Seabass getting a snipe and possibly another elimination for him too. Ways for him to go in terms of catching up to this. In any case, the game we're watching right now has a bunch of different people to keep track of, Mongrel being one of them. I know we saw Booga a second ago, not necessarily in this game, but the update for him was that he's sitting at 101. On the cusp.
I mean, we could talk about change from the players we're watching right now, too. I'm going to refer to this man here as No Name. Now, No Name is at 181 points, and we're already in placement. If there's a person who's even near the 5th place slot, getting points, getting eliminations, even just one, that's, I believe, 6 points of difference per elim at this point. He could shove people down and move No Name further downwards, maybe towards top 200, towards top 150. Although he's never going to see No Name in the game, although he's nowhere close to him in placement, every single move that these top players make still push everyone further down, oppress them pretty much from the top side of the leaderboard.
I just saw Gabe in this one. So that replay was from the same game, but maybe a little bit farther back to catch some action that's going on in it. Side with a snipe attempt on Gandhi. I see Bizzle in the background also lurking down way low. But he is going to make his way in on the 4th zone. Nades coming in. Got to be careful. It does connect once, but that's it for the nades. But the spray from all sides. Side needs to find himself some space, maybe connect to another base. But a headshot, and I think that will be the end. Yes. It's Gabe who gets another 5 points from that, from height.
That's 4 zones worth of time for Side. Mongrel's still cashing that time in. He's on the clock. 185 points. That threshold is increasing. And although the placement's rolling in, you got to remember that once we get towards the back half of the competition, the last 20 minutes, past queues closing, that threshold rises so much faster. 181 turns to 200, suddenly turns to 220. This is a similar situation from what we saw before in a previous game. When people start to get serious, more bases are made, the map gets silent, maybe 1 or 2 ARs are heard throughout the headsets across the world. But right now, that situation is happening once again. There's questions. How many more lives will Cracked on iPad affect? Will Mongrel have what it takes to push past just the cusp of teetering at the top 100? Can he cement a spot cross-regionally in NA East?
Will Illis maintain his good position in the standings currently? All he really needs to do is get the placement points that he can accrue, and really doesn't need to go for too much risks in terms of eliminations. Vetify as well, potentially to catch up. And we see Gabe up on height.
This person we're mentioning a lot, this has to be his game to just push straight forward completely solidify a spot in the finals. If he messes up here and then just flubs the next 2 games, Gabe could completely just fall out of contention. Literally, I think if you're only maybe top 15, that's where you're truly safe. Because I've seen that leaderboard change drastically. Here's Cracked on iPad next to another box. Vedify once again moving himself. So many people who just need this game, need to hit top 15, but there's way more than 15 people who have that demand right now.
RubyFi, who we saw have such a tough time, will start to make his way in, but I was reacting there to XNB getting taken out the sky off a crash pad. Bizzle stays up on the edge of this mountain. We're at the top of the Misty Meadows Dam. This could go down in that direction. 6 zone will determine a lot, as Mongrel still stays low, but it could also go up. Box to box with an RPG, RubyFi does not want to take that risk. That's a threat if I've ever seen one. Implied and all, taking out that rockets and saying, hey man, do not mess with me.
You can just sense the tension because no one's even moving in any of these boxes. They're just waiting in pyramids. Someone who's usually taking walls, Mongrel, low ground, blocked off by so many builds, is not even attempting to get slightly aggressive.
Just notice Bizzle's points is 177. That's not on pace. Remember, you said 181 was the current top 100 threshold, so this is huge for him. He's above the threshold, doesn't have to worry too much about that, and only 5 players need to go. He finds a launch pad, or maybe placed that one I didn't quite catch, as I had my eyes on RubyFi, who, by the way, has pushed his way all the way up to 242, so that early influence we saw on him not being a big deal. Well, Bizzle loses a wall, almost gets taken. Actually, that was Mongrel who went on his wall. Not something you see every day. EU ping Mongrel still taking it, but you said, hey, old habits die hard. Bizzle getting beamed. He's down to 80. He loses shield as well. That means everybody will know, and Illis knows it too. He's going to hunt, and Bizzle has spent so much on this rotate.
It might not even be enough. As these players are playing, the day goes on, the leaderboards still rise. 190 points is now what you need. So as Bizzle catches up, his hand reaches out, but the goal, the destination gets even further. Caesar down on low ground, his game almost ending. Mongrel in the storm. A lot of points accrued, but he gets absolutely deleted by No Name. Bizzle now waiting, prime position, the server developing on this moving zone. He has minimal mats left, a big short shot ready to go. Caesar so low. Survive, but for how long? It'll be Rogue Shark. This is his moment now to make the most out of this game, solidify his top spot in the top 50.
This could be huge for Rogue Shark, but also for Bizzle. Not sure where Rogue Shark is position-wise on the standings, but that will be important to note as we do see him, if we see him, but on high ground, I'm sure we will. Taking shots at Gabe. Gabe obviously moved way up there in terms of points in this game. We've already seen a couple elims from him, but also has a say. No, Bizzle falls to an RPG out the side unexpectedly, and only 183 points for Bizzle, so he'll have to do it in the last game. Here's Rogue Shark, 236 points for him. Targeting on Illis, he's only in a cone, so that's low HP, and he will get tags down to bring him out, and it's Umi who falls to Rogue Shark's charged shotgun that was not intended for him. The player who has 222 points is starting to heal up a little bit in the box, and has still hard mats remaining.
And this game is not chaotic, it's completely cerebral. Right now, it's just strats on strats, people playing smart, very close to the wall because time is running out. It'll be Rogue Shark who is the collector of not only these moments that are passing for each and every single player, but points, eliminations, the positioning that everyone wants to claim so much. Another no-name player going on the box of Moo at the bottom. We saw him get a few elims. Chug Jug here can't really use it. Gabe, though, fighting Rogue for the top spot to see if he can actually wrap out this game. It's a battle at the top of the leaderboard on hiatus. Rogue Shark taken out. He's chopped down straight towards the depths. I believe that might be a shockwave launcher used. Moo gets a little bit further on the zone. Gabe has to drop straight down. Straw Hat Charlie is watching this all develop, making his plans. How can he reach checkmate here for every other pawn piece in control in this game? He's actually taken out from the side. A diagonal strike by a Bishop. Moo now moving side by side for a box fight too. It's not possible. He gets denied. Gabe now pushing people into check. It's a huge jump all the way to the top. Not enough blocked off. The charge shotgun hits him and keeps him suppressed. Gabe is just raining everything down and not giving this man a chance to even speak. He has the rockets, but the distance is so great between him and Gabe.
250 points, the shockwave launcher all the way back up, reminiscent of that first World Cup game, but now he's pretty much out. One more will be fired. He's gonna have to reload. No builds to be able to really connect to Gabe if he needs to, but Gabe falls, 50 HP lost, and still shockwaves in. He gets out, there's still floppers though, and the zone not too far. Another shockwave might send him flying. He blocks it, and a flopper. Gabe is doing what he can, and he snakes him right in the face. A shot that Gabe has hit to get himself the win and 312 points to clutch out against the shockwave launcher. We all held our breath for a second there, but that's a clutch I'm gonna remember for a long, long time.
That was literally two people walking on a tightrope, not teetering, but just getting budged slightly. Finally, Gabe had the backflip to just land on his opponent's rope, take him out and play him at his own game. So smart. As I said, it was strat against strats, and it was the smartest player who came out on top.
Oh my goodness, Kelly, please. I need to know what you thought about that, because again, hype is overloading.
That was absolutely insane. Like the entire time I'm like, oh, Gabe has this. I mean, he's got, full shields, full health. He has the height advantage. And then that shockwave to send him all the way out of the zone. I didn't think he was going to be able to turn it around, but he did. And Gabe was already sitting at third place before that final. So I can't imagine where he's going to be right now. Price is still sitting at first place with 390 points. Only one match left, chat. There's only 15 minutes left for these players to queue. I know I've been kind of paying attention to where the bottom are at the 100, and I know that we've seen Booga floating around 100 as well as Mr. Savage floating between 99 and 105. So this last 15 minutes here are definitely going to be the most contentious and the most important. But my gosh, that Gabe is definitely got to be favorite player right now.
Gabe is making moves that no one else literally has before. And we focused a lot on the top 100 and who's on the cusp. I want to take a moment and talk about the top slot right now. My man Frist, who played so well at the rig, a person I never expected at the FNCS Solos Invitational, now still stays on the south side, moved over towards Caddy Corner, controls that shockwave launcher in whatever game he's in. I feel like he has this competition by storm in the semifinals. The question is who's coming in the top 10, second, third, fourth. Getting this high placement means you get control over POI pretty much. You gain that confidence. It's huge for grand finals.
Bala, anything that you want to say before we toss it to a break and probably get into the last match of the semifinals for North American East?
Yeah, if it's the last match, that means people need to put up or shut up, because otherwise they're going home. Top 100, we're getting ever so close.
Yeah, these guys definitely want to make it into the grand finals tomorrow, because $250,000 is going to be split between the two regions. Guys, don't go anywhere, because we're about to find out who our final 100 are going to be after this quick break.